You're falling. There's no ground beneath you, just open air and a drop with no bottom. Then, right before you hit anything, your body jolts awake, heart pounding. You've had this dream before? Almost everyone has. Dream researcher Antonio Zadra, who has spent decades at the University of Montreal cataloging thousands of dream reports, found that falling is one of the most universal dream experiences on record. Not rare, not tied to anxiety, just common. Across cultures, across centuries. So why falling? It starts with something called a hypnic jerk. As you drift into sleep, your muscles relax. Sometimes your brain misreads that relaxation as a loss of balance. Sleep scientist Matthew Walker, who has studied this exact moment at UC Berkeley, explains that the brain fires an emergency signal in response. Muscles contract. You jolt awake, sometimes mid-fall in a dream you don't remember starting. This isn't a malfunction, it's an old monitoring system doing its job. For millions of years, many of your ancestors slept somewhere far less stable than a bed. High in trees. A wrong shift of weight during deep sleep could be fatal. A brain that stayed just alert enough to catch the earliest sign of slipping wasn't paranoid. It was necessary. Evolutionary theorists have proposed exactly this as the origin of the hypnic jerk, an alarm left over from a time when falling asleep and falling to your death were dangerously close together. You don't sleep in trees anymore. The alarm never got the memo. Here's where it gets stranger. Neuroscientist J. Allan Hobson, whose work at Harvard reshaped how scientists understand dreaming, proposed the activation synthesis theory. During sleep, the brain fires random bursts of activity, and your mind builds a story to explain them. A twitch, a brief loss of balance. Your brain doesn't just note the sensation, it writes a narrative around it. And falling is the most obvious story it can tell because for millions of years, a loss of balance has meant exactly that. So the dream isn't the strange part. The dream is your brain's explanation for something ancient stirring in your muscles. What is a falling dream actually trying to warn you about? Not danger in your bedroom, not some hidden anxiety. It's your nervous system checking, one more time, that gravity hasn't gotten the better of you. A system built for branches, running a diagnostic in a body that now sleeps 6 inches off the floor. Researchers have noticed these dreams cluster around exhaustion and rough, irregular sleep, moments when the handoff between wakefulness and sleep gets abrupt. That abruptness seems to trip the old alarm. So the next time you jolt awake from a falling dream, you're not broken. You're carrying a piece of hardware built for a world where your body relaxing too fast could actually cost you your life. Some ancient part of you is still checking every night that you haven't slipped from a branch that stopped existing for you long before you were born. You're falling. There's no ground beneath you, just open air and a drop with no bottom. And this time, when you jolt awake, heart pounding, you know exactly what just happened and exactly how old it really is.